In today's rapidly shifting digital terrain, a profound transformation lurks, one of unequaled power, intrigue, and the very essence of identity. Welcome to the unfolding drama, where technology and humanity collide. As we venture online, the tools we've been entrusted with are like a double-edged sword. Conceived and perfected in the glass towers of tech conglomerates, and regulated in the hushed corridors of governmental think tanks, AI technology is our gift and our challenge. But to what end? Now, as we tweet, share, and communicate, AI bots silently take their place beside us. Their purpose? To assist, to learn, to amplify, and sometimes to distort. Like digital chameleons, they are adept at emulating human sentiments and behaviors, manipulation among them. The surge of deepfakes adds another layer to the entanglement.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, Larry Sinclair was right, or the 2020 election was rigged, or, how about this, simply, President Biden is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like millions of Americans.
Renowned faces, beloved voices, copied and manipulated to near perfection, can craft narratives that sow doubt and redefine our accepted truths. Reality, once easily grasped, has become a slippery concept. So what happens when AI bots tread into and recreate societal taboos? Or when they're wielded as tools of deception? We could possibly find ourselves in treacherous waters. Every video watched, every phone call heard, every text message sent, and social media post read is now under the scrutiny of suspicion. Are we connecting with fellow humans, or are we merely dancing with sophisticated codes? Could we find ourselves on the brink of a situation where these AI-related challenges become so pervasive in our daily lives that we beg our government for intervention? Amidst this escalating uncertainty, a familiar pattern emerges. Perhaps the architects of our digital dystopia, those who provided the tools and observed the chaos, will be poised with a solution that promises both salvation and subjugation. Let's not forget that the architects of our very own ChatGPT are also the creators of WorldCoin, a cryptocurrency designed with the promise of anti-fraud protection by tying one's digital wallet directly to their identity with a scan of their retina. Enter the digital ID. Lauded as the touchstone of authenticity, it pledges to separate the human from the machine. Financial institutions, the backbone of our economies, will rally behind this movement. Their argument: the stakes are too high. The risk of transacting with a digital phantom or an AI-generated imposter is unfathomable. With the banks leading the charge, a cascade will ensue, potentially making the digital ID the passport to the digital realm. Every post, message, transaction, online communication, and in turn, real-world action will need to be stamped with this form of digital authenticity. But here lies the more ominous proposition. Could this have been the grand design? Offer potent AI tools, watch society grapple with the ensuing mirage, then present a solution that seemingly restores order, but also paves the way for unparalleled surveillance and control? In an era where digital transformation dictates the pace of progress, another innovation stands poised to redefine our concept of money and control. Enter CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. Now, this channel has made videos about CBDCs in the past, and I implore you to review these videos and subscribe to our content. But for our new viewers that are unfamiliar with the concept, let me offer a brief synopsis. Most of us are familiar with digital payments. We swipe, tap, or click to pay. But behind those actions, traditional currency still changes hands. CBDCs, however, are a step further into the digital realm. Unlike cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which operate outside the traditional banking system, CBDCs are issued by a country's central bank. They represent a digital form of a country's official currency, be it dollars, euros, or yuan. One of the key components behind Bitcoin is blockchain technology on a decentralized ledger, which ensures every transaction is recorded across multiple places. This makes Bitcoin transparent, secure, tamper-resistant, and controlled by a peer-to-peer network with tens of thousands of participants in every country in the world. In contrast, CBDCs are on a private blockchain, controlled and monitored by our government and central bank authorities. As we have seen with centralized big tech corporations and cryptocurrency exchanges, this centralized control can be both an asset when it comes to convenience and a potential vulnerability when it comes to property rights. Private blockchains ensure every CBDC transaction is meticulously recorded. But unlike the open transparency of some decentralized systems, this data remains hidden from public eyes, cloaked in the shadows of governmental oversight. For users, CBDCs may promise smoother digital transactions, the capability to use without an internet connection, and a place where you can call for customer service. Yet these same pathways grant governments unparalleled access to personal financial data, creating unease about financial privacy and autonomy. But the control CBDCs offer central banks goes beyond mere observation. They can potentially impose spending limits, create currency expiry timelines, or direct funds to be spent only in specific sectors, raising concerns about financial freedom. Add to this the integration of digital IDs. While they streamline identification, they amplify surveillance capabilities, binding personal identity irrevocably with every financial flicker, opening up disconcerting avenues of control and profiling. The combination of digital IDs and CBDCs will transform the ways in which societies operate. This lays the foundation for the concept of a social credit score, which, once these systems are fully embraced, becomes a probable reality. These digital systems may seem like an advancement, but we must also recognize the potential implications. So, let's go one step further. Simply put, a social credit score evaluates and influences your behavior. Voice a controversial opinion on social media. Your score may decline. Drive a car instead of opting for public transit. You might receive a negative mark. Prefer meat over veggies? Your score might get a hit. On its own, that may be fine. After all, conscious awareness of your daily habits to affect change is key. But a social credit score can influence a myriad of life's aspects, from determining your place of residence, the schools you're eligible to attend, and your prospects for travel, to shaping your job opportunities, internet connectivity speeds, and accessibility to public transportation. Moreover, this score can sway societal perceptions, either earning you trust or casting you aside, and even influence personal spheres, such as your viability to use specific websites and dating platforms. But let's not hold back. Let's truly grasp the magnitude of this potential future. Imagine a world where your healthcare access, the promptness of your appointments, and even the treatments available to you are dictated by your score. A parent's rating could determine their child's school, or the products they're permitted to purchase. It could even impact one's right to vote, all based on an evaluated measure of responsibility. Should you find comfort in belonging to a higher socioeconomic class, believing the ramifications of a social credit system might bypass you, it's time to reconsider. Since its early implementation in 2019, China's social credit score system has proven indiscriminate, affecting not only millions of lower-income individuals, but also those at the zenith of societal hierarchy. Liu Hu, a journalist who uncovered corruption within the Chinese officialdom, stands as a testament. Despite complying with a court-ordered apology for his revelations, he was branded untrustworthy due to the perceived insincerity of his apology. Even corporate entities haven't been spared. OFO, a prominent Beijing-based bike-sharing company, buckled under enormous unpaid fines, leading its CEO, Dai Wei, to face personal restrictions. However, like any system, there are two facets. Those with impressive scores enjoy privileges, streamlined loan processes, swifter governmental services, enhanced job opportunities. Even preferential treatment on dating platforms, superior internet connections, quality educational avenues for their offspring, and energy bill discounts. But there's a darker underbelly. A diminished score can shape societal perceptions, potentially leading individuals to distance themselves from someone with a tarnished rating, fearing collateral damage to their own score. This intricate system, rooted in extensive data collection, ushers in pressing privacy dilemmas. Detractors highlight potential misuse against dissenters and question the opaque algorithms driving score computations, raising flags about potential biases and arbitrary decisions. The government posits that the restrictions serve a dual purpose, not only to hold individuals accountable for their actions, but also to ensure that those deemed untrustworthy find it challenging to proceed unencumbered in their daily lives. So far, we have discussed the digital ID and explored how AI bots and deepfakes might potentially lead to a digital stamp being placed on every interaction. Additionally, we've delved into the concept of a social credit score, which evaluates those actions. And finally, we've touched on a central bank digital currency, which provides the financial motivation to ensure the preceding two components remain in impeccable order. But to truly grasp the bigger picture, we must turn our attention to the final piece of the puzzle: climate change. Whether you agree with it or challenge the mainstream narrative, it doesn't matter. Governments around the world believe in it, so it is a factor that we are going to have to deal with going forward. But before we delve deeper, allow me to present this clip for some context.
What is climate change? I mean, I think the question that the young lady asked over here is very valid. Young people are highly intelligent, but I wonder whether they're being told, or which they're entitled to, all the facts in relation to this. When I asked, well, just a moment, Alice, you've been speaking for most of the night. When I asked Tanya Plibersek, was the Deputy Leader of the Labor Party and the potential Deputy Prime Minister, was carbon dioxide the big issue in relation to climate change? And she said yes. I then said, well, that being the case, what percentage of the atmosphere is made up of carbon dioxide? What is causing climate change? Is it carbon dioxide?
Yes, carbon dioxide pollution is a major contributor.
Okay, so can I ask you, this is not a trick question, what percentage of the Earth's air is carbon dioxide?
Oh, I don't know.
And I say, hang on, you don't know what percentage of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide, and yet you're prepared to stand the economy on its head to address a problem, the detail of which you don't know. So when I then explain that the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, Alice, is how much? Alice? How much of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere?
To answer the question, Scott Morrison has said he believes in climate change and that he wants to do something about it.
Alice, how much carbon dioxide is the problem? How much carbon dioxide is there in the atmosphere?
I'm not a scientist.
Too much.
I don't know.
Well, hang on. If you're going to argue the case, you ought to know. It's 0.04%. And of that 0.04%, human beings around the world create 3%. And of that 3%, Australia creates 1.3%.
In all seriousness, it's worth noting that while it is true that CO2 makes up approximately 0.04% of the atmosphere, and humans are responsible for 3% of that, scientists argue that this small percentage is crucial in regulating the Earth's temperature. But the climate change ideology can be hard not to agree with. After all, we all want to live in a world that is free of pollution. Nobody wants to shit in their own backyard, so it is easy to support. For the purposes of this video, I am not going to challenge or support the climate change debate, but rather explore its impact. Certainly, something all scientists can agree on is a large majority of this carbon is created by large corporations and industries. Around the world, innovative apps have been developed to track personal carbon footprints. For instance, meal ordering apps showcase the carbon footprint of each meal, with meat-based dishes naturally having a higher carbon impact. When reserving a flight, the associated carbon output is specified. Monthly electricity bills now indicate the carbon consumption of a household. Through mobile tracking, these apps can identify your mode of transportation and calculate carbon emissions accordingly.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Now imagine a world where you have a digital ID that tracks all of your personal data. The digital ID is attached to your CBDC bank account. A social credit score rates your behavior based on apps that track the amount of carbon you create, and they attach a limit to the amount of carbon you can use. Exceeding this limit would result in an automatic fine, much like how traffic violations are handled in China. This fine would be directly debited from your bank account. And with the absence of physical cash, there's no sidestepping these charges. How might this influence your actions? Every one of these technologies is already in existence today. What was once confined to the pages of a sci-fi novel is on the cusp of realization, already manifesting in places like China. Once digital IDs and CBDCs take root, there's minimal barrier to such a system emerging in the West. The United States represents an experiment in freedom. Yet, if recent history serves as a lesson, even a populace valuing liberty over oppression will embrace shifts, provided they're introduced subtly and incrementally. Over time, these small steps can culminate into significant changes. Staying informed is crucial. As we stand on the threshold of this brave new world, questions loom large. How much of our personal liberty are we willing to trade for the illusion of clarity, convenience, and safety. In this vast digital play, who truly pulls the strings, and at what cost to our shared human experience? I don't claim to have a definitive solution. Stopping technological progress isn't just impractical, it's also likely unachievable. What is crucial, however, is for us to be vigilant about the double-edged sword these technologies represent. While they might seem harmless or even beneficial today, they have the potential to reshape our world in ways that are both uplifting and deeply troubling. Thanks for watching. If you saw value in this presentation and feel our message is important, please share so that others can see, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our future content.